Hey everyone, how are y'all? She, how are you? She, are you doing okay? Just based off of our conversation in Discord earlier. Okay, y'all don't forget to hit the thumbs up, put your chat on live chat so you don't miss any of the comments. We are about to get into this Kohberger shit, y'all. Give me a second, because I need to change something real quick. Avery, how are you? Okay, she, I just wanted to make sure. Avery, uh, I'm livid. I'm mad. I'm pissed. Whatever other word that you can come up with, that's how I'm feeling right now. She's just pissed off. Nine millimeter. She has no idea what you're talking about. Elsie, how are you? Okay, y'all give me just 1 second. Betty Joe, how are you?
Good. Mad, but good.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything. Elsie, I'm doing good, thank you. Um, as far as like Ethan's family or Xana's mom or Maddie's family, I do know that Xana's aunt is upset and Kaylee's family is upset.
Yes, very.
And there is someone that is supposed to be trying to get in touch with Kara later on tonight uh, to to see what she thinks about this or how she feels about it, and then they're supposed to let me know.
I mean, I get it about taking the plea deal. I get it in a way because who's to say that they would have ever found him guilty, which I know they would have, but
Yeah, but
we
there's
can't.
still that chance though that he could have came back with a not guilty verdict, and
Right,
then there would be no justice at all for the victims or the families.
right.
I mean, he is, and I have an article from ABC that I'm going to read here in a few minutes. Uh, but there's supposed to be a plea hearing Wednesday. I've got to find out what time that's going to be and if it's going to be streamed, because if it is, I will be going live with it. And then his sentencing is supposed to be sometime later in July. He will receive 4 consecutive life sentences and then the maximum 10-year penalty for the burglary charge.
Yeah.
So,
Which, okay, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the way Emily put it, the defense went to the prosecution
they
with
did.
something.
So basically they went to the prosecution last week, and it has everything in this article, but I did take notes from it as well. But um, the defense went to the prosecution last week and was like, make us an offer. And so apparently the state met up with the available uh, family members that they could. Scar, how are you? Um, and they kind of put together what they thought should have been put together or whatever, and then they it was presented to the defense on Sunday. And you're gonna have to excuse my voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on just a second. I'm looking at something real quick.
She probably was yelling at the TV.
I Yeah, I was, y'all.
I was yelling, yo. When I seen that
I
come across, I was watching something. I can't remember what it was. It said breaking news: Kohberger takes deal. I was like, what?
I didn't even know about it. Somebody posted it in Discord, and I had to read it like 2 or 3
I did.
times to make sure that I
It was
was
on.
reading it correctly.
Yeah, I
Okay,
did. It
well
was on
maybe it
Facebook.
was you.
It
Yeah,
was on Facebook.
and then I was getting messages in DMs and Discord like, "Did you hear about Kohberger?" And then I went over to the experts live, and he saw me in there, and he was like, "Lost Souls, did you hear about Kohberger?" I was like, "Yeah." So I left there, went to Shizzy's. He was like, "Oh, Lost Souls, did you hear about Kohberger?" I was like, "Yes, I
So
heard about it."
when I seen it come across breaking news, Bryan Kohberger takes a deal. I went to Facebook and I seen that post. So I posted it in Discord. So then I went to X and I seen it. It was like boom, 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 boom. Bryan Kohberger
Yeah,
takes the
because
deal. Bryan Kohberger. I said,
yeah,
no,
because
I
somebody
will.
posted Brian Itten's tweet about it. Avery, what? Never mind. I'm not even gonna say nothing. Elsie said, "I said every dirty word I knew at the TV."
I
Okay,
did.
Elsie, y'all, I was. Uh, I've done. Sally Mae was joking with me earlier about the swear jars. I've probably filled up at least 6 or 7,
I was so hot, boy.
maybe more.
Because my kids went to the grocery store to get stuff for the 4th of July, right?
Uh,
And they come back. I said, you'll never guess what just effing happened. And my son said, what? I said, Bryan Kohberger took a deal. He said, no, really? I said, yep.
okay, is Dan in here? So I'm wondering if this email is from him.
Because even though they don't like to hear about me talking about my cases, they still listen.
Musical, yes. I've done went down how many of them already. Just since this broke, that ain't even counting all the rest of them for today. Okay, Elsie, I see your email. She's like, Kohberger accepted a plea deal. Oh my fucking god.
Who said that?
Elsie in her in the email that she sent to me.
Yeah. Boy, I mean, I don't know what to do with myself now.
I, I don't know. Hey Courtney, um, I'm gonna have to find another trial to stream because yeah, I had this one all planned out for no less than the 12 weeks, like they were telling us. And I'm still holding out just a
Well, yeah,
small
because the
sliver.
judge,
Hey, Ashes, how are you?
they said the judge can deny it.
That's what I'm holding hope out for. That something may happen, and the judge is like, because we don't even know the stipulations other than he has to plead guilty and he has to waive his rights to appeal. He can't appeal anything.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure there may be some other stipulations
Yeah.
in there.
Because, yeah, I don't know all of them.
Do you think that we'll ever find out later? The Ashes, that's a good question.
I mean, to be honest, I hope that one of the stipulations is he has to stand up and say why he did it.
I mean, I think honestly, which as far as the weapon is concerned, that would be something he would have to give up that location uh, before the plea hearing because they would have to go find it, bring it back, have it in court, and say, okay, he told us where it's at. Here it is. We have it in our hand. But then at the same time, it also needs to be tested, which could take God knows how long to
Yeah.
be tested for DNA and all that, this and that, to make sure that that is it. Um, Wait, Scarlett has dropped one G family statement in Discord. Wait, what? 9 millimeter? Hold on. Oh. Oh, the Gonzalez family statement. Okay, thank you. Hold on, y'all. Let me screenshot this real quick. Avery, are you staying in chat tonight or are you coming up? Oh, hell, that didn't work. Y'all give me a second.
I don't know, but Avery Vapor and King Scarlet need to stop texting and just come and chat because it's making my phone go off.
Okay, and real quick, if y'all are not subbed up to the second channel, Nightbot just dropped the link. I go live over there on Sunday nights, and there's no true crime talk whatsoever, but we do have a lot of play. Uh, Wait, Sally, Avery's got a headache?
Avery is a headache. I got a new name for
True.
Avery.
Avery, how are you?
I don't know.
Tell him what your new name is, Avery.
Um, Airhead.
Airhead Hooker.
Yeah, Airhead. I'm sorry, y'all. I have had the worst headache today, and I took something for my, I took something for it like about 30 minutes ago, and I was just kind of waiting for it to kick in.
Okay, well, I did not know that you had a headache, but that's what you get for sitting up all night.
Well,
See,
and then
I know where you were at last night too, at like 5 o'clock this morning.
where was I?
Uh, Over in Miss CC's. I'm not going to say the channel name, but that's her initials over in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Uh huh. See,
Yeah,
Scarlett knows everything.
I paid her for a reading. I couldn't sleep, and then I had to work today, and it was hot. I mean,
God,
hot.
I was in Discord this morning and you said something, and I asked if you were still awake. I think that was this morning. Maybe that was yesterday morning.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. No. That was this morning. I asked Sally Mae if she was still awake.
Because
Not
I
you.
crashed out.
Shit, I
yeah.
slept like 2 hours today. I didn't even go to sleep last night.
And then today I had. So this is unusual. Sometimes I'll have like maybe 1 or 2 100-pound packages, but for some reason today I had like 10 that were at least 100 to 150 pounds.
Good
And
Lord.
so my back is just terrible. Headache and backache.
You need a heating pad.
Yep.
I do. I have one. And I have medication to take for my back, but it makes me high and then I knock out. So
Dan Davis, how are you? Also, Dan, are you the one that sent me an email? Because I just seen it, but I wanted to make sure that it was you. Yeah, my voice is about gone.
I was gonna tell you guys, after you guys whenever I finally opened up my phone, I had 268 missed text messages from the group text
Because
about
don't
Kohberger.
Yeah, I was screaming for you in the damn Discord. Hey, Jim with two N's, how are you?
Yeah, then I looked at Discord, and at first I thought you guys were messing around.
No.
Bro, we wouldn't be messing around about something like that. And Dan,
No.
thank you for the email.
And then
Absolutely not.
yeah, and because see, I couldn't look because we had big storms come in and there was so much lightning and rain, and I was trying to dive in it and I couldn't look. But and then Jason called, and I asked him. I said, "Are you surprised? You know, like about this? Is this shocking?" And he said, "No." He said, "In Utah, Idaho, you know, their states." He said they do that a lot. They right before the trial, because he said this is the first plea deal that they've offered. Bryan Kohberger.
Well, yeah, because the defense went to the state and was like, offer us something.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know about that part, but I just know this is the first one. And he said that it's really common for them to do that right before the trial.
Well,
I asked him, I said, do you think they're going to have any stipulations that he's got to like tell where? Oh, that's what it was too. He said there was a ruling in Pennsylvania court today about witnesses that were not going to be something about.
No, 3 of them had to come. They didn't know about the other one.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. Something about something about a hearing in Pennsylvania, which
Yeah.
is witnesses for Kohberger
Yeah.
for the
3 of them
trial.
were told they had to come testify, but they were still talking about the other one.
So there was like 8 or 9 of them, he said. So I don't know if that played into it too, or
9 millimeter. The second one that you sent me in Discord. Is this supposed to be blurry like that?
Somebody
I
said
can still read it, but it's. Hey, Linda, how are you?
the prison guard. They seem to think the prison guard has something on him.
Well, apparently the prison guard spoke, but I
Yeah.
don't think I ever seen if it was a prison guard. Well, not a prison guard, but the jail guard from either Pennsylvania or Idaho. I don't know which one.
It was Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was
okay.
gonna.
They
He
seem
was.
to he had.
Okay, thank you, 9 millimeter.
They seem to think he had something on Bryan Kohberger.
Well, yeah, they were putting him on the witness list.
Yeah. But the ones that were supposed to come from Pennsylvania to testify, they were told they had to come testify, but they were still talking about the one with the car dealership because the original owner, the father, is 88 years old and he's homebound. So they were trying to decide whether or not the son, because the son ran it with him, would have to come and testify.
Okay. So let me get into this article real quick.
And then I also wonder if this stuff that has recently come out about the DoorDash driver being an eyewitness has anything to do with this too, because
that's what I was wondering.
The defense didn't know about her. They learned about it from the leak online, where they shared, the body cam footage.
Yeah. Hey, King.
It could have played a big role in it.
I mean, either way, and I'm still just upset about the damn plea deal. But he's still going to serve life in prison no matter what. But my thing on it is, if he is guilty of doing this, I'm just speaking hypothetically about this. He should have gotten the death penalty. He should have stood before the firing squad.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Just on, how are you?
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he obviously he's guilty because he wouldn't.
Yeah, because if you're not guilty, you're not going to take a plea.
Yeah, right. I know there's a couple other YouTubers that are already running with
oh God.
There's just so much evidence planted against him that they've backed him into a corner, and now an innocent man is having to plead guilty. Blah, blah.
My opinion of it is he's guilty, but I also, as the creator, have to watch how I say stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in my opinion.
Exactly. I mean, that's
he should have went before the firing squad.
That's my opinion on it too.
It's to me, in a situation like this, there's 4 victims. There's 4 different sets of families.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's at the sentencing, which he is supposed to go Wednesday. There's supposed to be the plea hearing.
Did they say
9 millimeter? Well, 9 millimeter said in chat she thinks it's a closed hearing.
I don't think it is.
I haven't seen yet because there's nothing on the case summary page yet about it, if it's going to be closed or opened. So I'm hoping tomorrow morning they will have something on there about it. And it should say on that case summary page if it's going to be open or closed.
Wait, is it Wednesday this week?
Yes, it's July the 2nd.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah.
Well, that's his hearing to plead guilty.
Yeah, that's his plea hearing. And then he will be sentenced if he pleads accordingly like he is supposed to. Then the end part of July, he will be sentenced and he will receive 4 consecutive life sentences and then the maximum 10-year sentence for the burglary charge.
And there's no appeals.
Yeah,
no appeal.
Cannot appeal on anything. So we do know that is, some of the stipulations he can't, but there could be others that was also put in there because the prosecution did speak with some of the family members. I have two different statements from the Gonzalez family that they put out. I know that they were upset. I know that Xana's aunt was upset about it. Someone is.
She did the interview on News Nation already.
Yeah, I seen where somebody said he was on Banfield earlier.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. Someone is supposed to be trying to get in touch with Kara tonight to see how she feels about this, and then they're supposed to let me know. I haven't heard anything from Ethan's family. I know at one point they wasn't going to any of the hearings or even going to the trial because they said they didn't want to give Kohberger the satisfaction of seeing them hurt and upset over what happened. Sky, who got arrested for DUI?
He's probably talking about the DoorDash driver.
Oh. So hopefully either tonight or some point later in the morning or tomorrow, I will find out how Kara feels about this. I have put the offer out to Kara if she feels comfortable coming on panel. She's more than welcome to. But I also, knowing her situation that she just got out of, I don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on her to the point where she may get upset and fall back into that as well, because she is doing so good right now.
Yeah.
So I don't want to, if she doesn't feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah. So the prosecution didn't. They didn't talk to the families about this beforehand. They just did it.
Steve Gonzalez said they had a meeting on Friday, and they did talk about a plea deal.
Mm-hmm. And then it was once. So basically, the prosecution talked to available family members who could get there or whatever on Friday, and then the plea deal was then offered to the defense on Sunday.
Yeah, because they did talk about it, but he said he wasn't happy.
No, they are very upset about
not having the death penalty and not going to trial. But he's also got to look at it in the perspective of these jurors could have found him not guilty on all charges.
Right. I mean, this guarantees that he goes to jail for the rest of his life. But at the same time,
I mean, I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, because I'm trying to look at it from both sides of it. Yes, he will spend the rest of his life in jail, hopefully in Gen Pop. And I hope jail justice takes over at that point. Yeah. But anyway, but also as a parent, I can see where because if it was my child, I would stop at nothing to have the death penalty.
Oh, you best believe, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, I get both points.
Right.
But
it's just, I mean, because to me, if I was in the family situation, I don't know if I would consider 4 life sentences justice for my child and her friends who were doing nothing wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
Being murdered the way they were. I don't know if I could see that as justice.
No, and I get it. I wouldn't be able to see it as justice either. But I also would have to have in the back of my mind that this man could actually get off scot-free.
True.
So either way you look at it, it's not,
Yeah.
But I get where he's coming from because, yes, they deserve the justice.
Yeah.
So
for these kids.
This means he's having to say to Ann Taylor, yes, I did this. I committed these crimes, right?
Well, I think what it is when the defense went to them and said, offer us a deal. I believe Ann Taylor, they found something in their whatever.
Now, how do we know the defense asked for it?
Because
I have an article that explains everything that happened. They're coming from the I don't know if they got a copy of the plea agreement or whatever, but they say in there, according to the agreement, this is how it's
Yes, even
laid
Steve
out.
Gonzalez said the defense went to them.
Just
And
on,
said,
I'm
offer
livid
us a
over it.
deal.
Vapor says Santa Claus is not getting an effing Christmas card for him this year.
I mean, you know, it's hard because you do want him to pay for what he's done.
I mean, here's the thing. You go into a house for whatever reason, no, and I can't say if it's because he was stalking one of the victims or whatever, because at this point we don't know. We don't know the facts of the case
Right.
because and we may never know now that the trial is not going to happen. But the way
Exactly.
I see it, you go into these people's house who was doing nothing wrong in the middle of the night and you murder 4 college students. You were then arrested, an investigation is thoroughly done, and
Mhm.
then the death penalty is put on the table for you if you're found guilty, and now all of a sudden you're scared as shit that you don't want the death penalty.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. King says Idaho law requires plea agreements to be announced in open court, making the hearing public by default. It is closed for whatever reason. I will lose my cool. Okay, so I'm gonna say this then, and
I'm
y'all know
hoping it ain't.
I'm hoping it's open as well. And y'all know I've said it 1,000 times. If King Scarlet says it, I trust it. If whenever I find out whatever time that it is going to be done, Wednesday, July 2nd, I will be live streaming it. So I'm just letting y'all know. I will put in Discord. I will announce on a community post whenever I find the time to let everybody know when I'll be starting the live. Okay, so let me I need to move this. All right, and mods, I cannot see chat right now because I have it covered up. So if y'all could just kind of keep up with what's going on in the chat, please. Oh, well, shit. I gotta move this around because I gotta pull this up. Why the fuck is this playing? I don't want this playing. Why the hell? Yeah, don't pay no attention to me. And like I said, y'all are just gonna have to excuse my voice because it is not the best tonight. Okay, well, Courtney, if you miss it, then I'm not gonna delete it. It'll still be up there for you to go back and watch. Okay, Bryan Kohberger has agreed to plead guilty to all counts in the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students, sparing him from the death penalty, according to a letter sent to the victims' family members informing them of the plea deal. There was some stuff that I had seen on X where people were saying that that's how the family members found out about this plea deal, is through a letter that was attached to an email or whatever. I have it from the Gonzalez family that 9mm just sent me saying that they did go speak with the prosecution.
Yeah, on Friday.
Yes. Kohberger, who was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary in the connection with the 2022 murders of roommates Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Kernodle's boyfriend Ethan Chapin, will be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences on the murder counts and the maximum penalty of 10 years on the burglary count, according to the plea agreement. Prosecutors anticipate sentencing to take place in late July as long as Kohberger enters the guilty plea as expected at a change of plea hearing that's scheduled for Wednesday, according to the letter received by the family of one of the victims. Y'all, let me cut ads off real quick. Hold on. This shit keeps popping up down here. All right, now I don't have to worry about skipping them. So Kohberger will waive all right to appeal, the agreement says. The state will also seek restitution for the victims and their families, according to the agreement. The plea comes just weeks before Kohberger's trial was set to begin. Jury selection was set to start on August the 4th. Opening arguments were scheduled for August the 18th. Prosecutors said in the letter to the families that the state was approached last week by Kohberger's defense team asking to be presented with an offer. Prosecutors said that they met with the available family members last week, weighed the right path forward, and made a formal offer to Kohberger. Lisa, how are you? The resolution is our sincere attempt to seek justice for the family, the prosecution wrote in the letter. This agreement ensures that the defendant will be convicted, will spend the rest of his life in prison, and will not be able to put you and other families through the uncertainty of decades of post-conviction appeals, which that is true also. Because if he does go through the whole jury trial, he's convicted, he gets the death penalty, he still has the appeals that he can go through, which then drags the families into court multiple times over multiple years.
Yep.
Your viewpoints weighed heavily in our decision-making process, and we hope that you may come to appreciate why we believe this resolution is in the best interest of justice. But the Gonzalez family is upset by the plea, claiming that the Latah County's prosecutor's office mishandled and rushed the deal. They vaguely mentioned a possible plea on Friday without seeking our input and presented the plea on Sunday, the family said in a statement. Latah County should be ashamed of its prosecutor's office. 4 wonderful young people lost their lives, yet the victim's family were treated as opponents from the outset. We weren't even called about the plea. We received an email with the letter attached. That's how Latah County's prosecutor's office treat murder victims' families. Adding insult to injury, they're rushing the plea, giving families just 1 day to coordinate and appear at the courthouse for the plea on July the 2nd. Which, like I said, is just day after tomorrow. The family statement went on to say that after more than 2 years, this is how it concludes, with a secretive deal and a hurried effort to close the case without any input from the victims' families and the plea on the plea details. Our family is frustrated right now, and that will subside, and we will come together as always and deal with the reality that we face moving forward. Something keeps popping up in my Discord for some reason.
So pretty much, they're not going to fight.
I don't know.
Because I think the families have a right to fight whether or not he goes to trial or accepts it.
I mean, if it was me, I would fight it as long and as hard as I could. But I'm not in their position.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are or not.
Yeah, I don't know if they are or not either. But the way it's sounding, that they're just going to accept the plea.
Yeah.
And move on.
Hey, Gigi, how are you?
Which, I get it too. I mean, either way, I get their position.
I mean, I just feel sorry for the families.
Yeah, I do too.
Honestly.
I do too.
Okay, so the University of Idaho said in a statement Monday, "We keep the families of the victims in our hearts as each deals with this outcome in their own way. No outcome can replace what they lost," the university said. "We will never forget the 4 incredible lives taken." And I hate even looking at that damn house, y'all. The 4 University of Idaho students were all stabbed to death in the girls' off-campus house in the early hours of November 13, 2022. 2 roommates inside survived, including one roommate who told authorities in the middle of the night she saw a man walking past her in the house, according to the court documents. The roommate described the intruder as not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows, according to the documents. And I'm just going to say this, y'all. Jeff H., how are you? If I never have to hear another thing about some damn bushy eyebrows.
I know.
For real. Because the bushy eyebrows have been at the center of this case from the jump. Hey, yep. Ginger. Seems to me that his admission of doing this awful crime is at least some form of closure. Jeff, yeah, I mean, it is some sort of closure for him, but I also see where they're coming from.
You know, it's funny because All he kept saying is, "I'm going to be exonerated. I'm going to be exonerated.
Yeah, that was like his big
I
thing in the
didn't
very
do this."
beginning.
Yeah.
And now here you are 2.5 years later, and you're taking a plea deal, and you got to get up and plead
Yeah.
guilty.
You know what I'm thinking? I think this may have been strategically done by the defense
Oh, I
because
do.
Of course.
all of the leaks that have come out over the past like 8 weeks or so,
Mhm.
everybody is like, what, like, where are these? They're wanting to investigate where are these leaks coming from, but it would make sense that they would put these leaks out, giving them more reason to go to the prosecution and ask for a plea deal. So this may have been all planned.
That defense is the one who leaked them.
Yeah, but I just it never crossed my mind that they may have leaked in order to get a plea deal.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, King, I was reading that. Dang it. Hold on, y'all. I got to go to StreamYard now. She deleted her comment, and I couldn't see it. So, King, are you going to put that statement back in the chat, but just a different way? She put a whole dang comment in there, y'all, and I was right in the middle of it, and then she gonna delete it. What the heck? It just doesn't delete it on StreamYard, so I can still read it.
But yeah, you're right, Avery. That's how I was thinking. They did this to see,
Yeah, it's just awfully weird, that
because
all the different leaks and stuff,
yeah,
Okay,
and
Chief.
then kind of like maybe that's what the plan was.
yeah, because she knew she couldn't. I'd say she's been telling him for weeks. We're gonna have to do a plea deal. We're gonna have to do a plea deal. And by doing what they did, you know,
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, Tiff, who is AK? Or did you mean AT? And King, okay, so I won't read this comment because it is still in my StreamYard chat, so I'll wait for your next one. But the other one that you had in there was perfectly fine. Okay, let me get back over here. Okay, so Tiff meant Ann Taylor. Okay, so King says no, the victims' families cannot outright veto a plea agreement. And she has
well, no,
more to go
they can't.
along with that.
But
Yeah.
could they try to fight?
No, I was just texting. That's why I muted. I was just texting Jason, asking him if the families can have any right, to fight against the plea agreement, and he said no, they don't.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
real
very
quick, y'all.
sad.
It is showing that we have 42 people in here with only 28 likes. So could y'all
Oh,
please hit the thumbs up?
I did my like.
I mean, I'm not saying.
I also shared your second channel earlier too, Scarlett. I did the exclamation point Scarlett.
Yes, thank you. I saw that.
So
Okay.
if the mods that are down there could just randomly, put the second channel in.
Yeah, because I had to update the command, so I need to send out another copy of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sally Mae says, does the judge have the final say?
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on King because that was answered in the comment that she deleted.
I believe the judge. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the judges have.
Well, King did say in her other comment that she deleted while I was reading that the judge ultimately has the final say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just waiting for her to.
the prosecution, they, there's so much going on behind the scenes. They're all talking. The judge knows, if they're drawing up paperwork's been drawn up and stuff, then the judge
I'm
is going to
hoping
sign
that.
off. If the prosecution is saying, yeah, the judge is going to sign off on it.
I'm hoping by tomorrow there will be something on the case summary page about
Yeah.
what's going to be going on.
Well, I hope it's open.
Well,
I think,
King is saying that in the state of Idaho that it has to be. Uh, I forgot the exact wording she said, but it has to be done in an open court to the public.
yeah,
So
because the public has the right to know.
Yeah, I hope so.
okay, 9mm said that Emily D. Baker, which we all know is an attorney, said that the state has the final say. The judge will accept what they
Yeah,
present.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, which I mean, in the long run, it saves them a ton of money, but also
Well,
you just pissed off the whole world.
yeah, but it also saves, like, and I know the families wouldn't want to hear this right now, but the families and then like Dylan and Bethany, it saves them from,
Yeah,
'cause when they go to trial, they go through re-victimization,
yeah,
whether they know it or not.
yeah. And that, like I said, I mean, it could come. Who's to say that he would be found guilty? I mean, even though, yeah, they got a whole bunch of evidence on him, and yeah, everybody knows in their opinion that he's guilty, but who's to say that the jury will find him that way? You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, this is a guarantee that
Exactly. This is
it's just
guaranteed.
taking the DP off the table is what's getting me.
Yeah.
So okay, King says that families can speak at the hearing, submitting statements of opposition, asking the prosecutor to reconsider. The judge still has the final say and must consider victims' views.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm not sure. If because I was just asking, and I don't know. I was just
Well,
told
see,
the families won't speak at the plea hearing. They'll speak at the sentencing hearing, but not the plea hearing.
I don't.
well,
So I
I
don't.
haven't looked into any of this because y'all, this just kind of hit us out of nowhere today. I was not
Mhm.
expecting the plea deal.
Who was the first person to break the news? I missed it.
I put it in
Somebody,
Discord.
somebody put Brian Itten's
I did.
ex post in
Put,
Discord, and
I
so
put
Betty, it
Bryan
was,
Atten's thing
and
in
then she
Discord.
come in with something else. And when I was reading Brian's thing, I had to read it like 2 or 3 times to make sure I was reading it correctly.
So
Trust me, I did too.
so Brian Denton is the one who broke it.
I don't know if he's the one that
He's the one who
broke it,
posted it in X
But
first.
Betty
but
Jo, every time if you talk at the same time as Scarlett, I can't hear the both of you.
I think there's a
What'd you
lag
say?
between me and her.
Yeah, I think so too. What'd you guys say now?
Okay, Betty Jo, do you want to tell her?
When I went to X, well, first I seen it on TV. I was watching something to come across Bryan Kohberger takes plea deal. So I went to Facebook and I seen where Bryan Anton posted on Facebook, and then I went to Twitter and seen where he posted there. So I grabbed
Um,
it and I posted it in Discord for Scarlett to see.
I wouldn't be surprised if it about it being Brian Denton because he seems to break a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean his thing was like, I have confirmed information or some. That's not verbatim of what he said, but it
Yeah.
was confirmed,
Wow.
and I was like, wait, what? Like I had to read it over and over, and I was like, I can't even remember now what I put in Discord,
She
but
went off.
it was like 2 or 3 cuss words in one sentence in a row.
I saw where you said that you were speechless and you're never speechless.
she
I
she was
I didn't
off
know
and
what to say. Like I had to go get a drink.
she did too.
Like an alcoholic drink or just a
Yeah.
Yes,
She was going off.
I was like, I couldn't breathe. I was upset. I was mad. I was just like, I said, I swear before baby Jesus, I hate Brian Kohberger. I was very upset.
Now that's funny.
And I told her, I said, Scarlett, back away from the wine bottle.
I only
How
had
funny.
3, 4 glasses. That was it. Me and she both were in there.
Gosh. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, that was a lot.
It was, I was not expecting it. I
I
will
don't
be
think
honest.
anybody was.
Hmm.
Yeah, Tiff was trying to get me to drink while on panel, and I was not going to do that.
I don't think
Okay.
anybody in the world expected this.
No, this just kind of,
Just came out
yeah,
of nowhere for us.
nowhere,
It's
literally.
it's a smack in the face.
Okay.
It really is because we've been so invested in it,
Yep.
for so
For
long.
2.5 years. And that's what I put in chat earlier. Think of all of when this first started, and Betty Joe, when her eyesight was bad, and so
Yep.
she couldn't read them. And so I would, every night that a new document came out, I would come on here. It didn't matter if it was 1 page or 110 pages. I read
Yep.
the whole dang thing,
Yep.
so she could hear everything that they were talking about
Day one.
from
So
from the jump.
would this be a bad time to tell you that Betty Joe was faking that just to see if
No,
you'd read
I
to
would
her?
No,
faking that.
I knew she wasn't.
I would
I'm
never.
So
joking. I'm
That's not.
joking.
I would never pull that.
I'm joking.
I read every. I probably read over 100 or so documents.
Oh yeah, well over.
Okay, Jamie, I see where you tagged me, but I don't see anything else. Was you supposed to attach something to that? Yeah, I read so many that I got sick and tired of reading flipping. That's why I tell King now if a new document comes out, just like read it and then give me the rundown on it because
I'm
I can't
sorry.
read anymore. Okay, Jamie, I see it now. Thank you. Okay, so King said that the Idaho Constitution, Article 1, Section 22, and the Idaho Code 95306 guarantees the victims the rights to be heard upon request at all criminal justice proceedings considering a plea of guilty. See, this is why I'm so happy that we have our own personal channel attorney in here.
Yep.
King's like, I came with the receipts.
She sure did.
King, receipts or it didn't happen. And that's actually going to be one of my new merch hoodies that's coming out soon.
Yep.
Gigi, no. If he goes in Wednesday and enters his plea of guilty, there will not be a trial.
No.
Okay, let me finish this article real quick that I have pulled up here, and then I've got two different statements from the Gonzalez family, and then I have a statement from Bryan that Jamie just tagged me in.
Okay.
Kara said in her first interview that she didn't believe in the DP. Ethan's parents have alluded that they didn't want the DP. I believe the state would be torn listening to the families either way. I mean, and I'm going to say this. Just because I think that he should get the DP, I know other people have different opinions about it, and I'm completely fine with that. I respect that 100%. Just because we don't agree on that doesn't mean anything. But at the same time, I do agree, 9mm, that would also be something that the the prosecution would have to take into consideration. If you have 4 victims, but possibly 2 victims' families that doesn't want it or don't believe in it, and then you have 2 that wants it for sure. All right, let me get back up here. Okay, so we were at the bushy eyebrows. Was that an echo?
No, it was my daughter.
Oh, okay. Okay, it says here the shocking quadruple murders shook the small college town of Moscow, catapulted into the national media interest and launched a nearly 7-week manhunt. In December of 2022, Kohberger, a criminology PhD student at nearby Washington State University at the time, was arrested in his parents' home in Pennsylvania. DNA matching Kohberger's was found on a K-bar knife sheath by one of the victims' bodies, the prosecutors have said. So we do know, like, that piece of evidence. We've known that since the PCA came out.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have heard the other evidence that they had, because just based off of the fact that there is people that has been going back through this whole case, they don't have anything against him. Oh yeah, they have a lot against him. We just don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Defense lawyers have said that Kohberger was driving around alone on the night that the murders occurred. Still not buying the whole alibi, out stargazing, or whatever it was that he claimed was his alibi.
I don't buy that either.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. Okay, let me get y'all pulled back real quick. See, I'm all for the DP in this case, but I understand why they have made the deal. Yeah, 9 millimeter. There is a lot of documents that were sealed in this case, because every time something new came out, there was a new document for a motion to seal, and then the judge is ordered to seal it. See, I wonder if it was a financial thing to save money, since the state has already spent so much. That's a good question, Jen. Just think of what's being spent on Ann Taylor.
Yeah, right.
Gigi, we are on the main channel tonight, so we are trying to behave over here tonight, because this is a serious matter. Avery has been good tonight, but she's also not feeling good. And she's actually kind of being quiet, more quieter than usual. All right, I need to screenshot these so I don't pull my Discord up.
I never thought Avery would be lost for words.
Chick, I was lost for words. I'm never speechless. I always have something to say. I may be quiet at times, but I always got something to say.
Yeah, that was like so huge. First I had to make sure you guys weren't messing with me. Then I had to like process it. Then, then I talked to Jason about it, because I didn't really understand why they would do this like at the last minute. So I feel like I'm still processing it.
Hell,
I think it was done at the last minute, just based off the fact that she tried everything she could to get the death penalty taken off the table for him, and the last option she had was for him to take a plea deal.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean that, but I can't help but wonder if I don't know. It's just something is making me think that they were behind all these leaks, and that this was just like, strategically done to get to this point, and then asking for a deal with all this stuff leaked would make them look more vulnerable to the prosecution, to get a deal made. I'm not sure, but something doesn't feel right just yet about it.
I've seen people go to trial on the very first day and say, I want to plead guilty.
But you know how, like, sometimes, like, something, like, it just doesn't feel right? Like,
I don't think it feels right, just because we've been on this case since November of 2022.
Well, I mean, this woman, Ann Taylor, she has been fighting tooth and nail, and then all of a sudden she's just going to cave. And
I think she knew she couldn't defend him.
Well, that's what Vapor just said. The fact that the defense went to the prosecution to ask for a plea, it tells me that they knew that they couldn't win. So then the prosecution should have never given in to her. Has nothing to do with money. Ann banked, y'all, for real. She made bank on this case right here.
Oh, yeah.
And then my mind goes to, well, what else did the prosecution have that, now we'll never know in terms of evidence, because I felt like they had things that was going to shock us.
I think the only way that we will ever know is if some of them for the state of Idaho do interviews.
Yeah.
And they tell what they had. Doesn't mean that they will, but that's the only way that we will know. Unless I mean, we know how
Unless
people are
somebody
with FOIA
FOIAs it.
requests.
Yeah, but I don't think you can FOIA investigative files. I think you can FOIA, transcripts and PCAs and things,
Well, you
but I
wouldn't.
don't think you can FOIA the prosecution's investigation files.
I don't know, because I can guarantee you when he's sentenced and then it's case closed because he
Yeah.
can't appeal anything, watch and see how many FOIA requests they get.
Yep. They're gonna FOIA a lot.
Yeah,
And y'all already know who the FOIA queen is. And that's Plunder. Plunder, I
Yep.
guarantee you, is going to do a FOIA request on this.
I just
Yeah,
hope
no
to
doubt.
God that nobody FOIAs the autopsy photos and puts them out like they did with Gannon
No,
Stout.
I don't think. I don't think you'll get any of the autopsy photos.
Well, especially how
They'll be
they
seen.
went and put it over on what was it? Shit, what's the other platform? And then
Patreon.
and they put it behind a paywall.
Yeah. I just
Yeah,
don't.
no, they shouldn't put any autopsy report or any autopsy photos should
Yeah.
not be included in a FOIA request.
No, I
Mhm.
don't think. I don't think they could do that.
Yeah. But they do, they
Well,
do
some
it,
states do.
yeah.
Some states don't.
but I don't think that they should at all because that is just we know how autopsies are performed and
Hmm.
you know
Yeah.
they're very graphic photos
Yeah.
that should not be
But I'm pretty
put out to the
sure.
public.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure once this is over with, Plunder will get everything she
Oh,
needs.
for sure.
Like I did never see Gannon's photos because I didn't want to go
Oh,
look.
yeah.
But
Well, the shit
seeing,
that people were saying about him and
Yeah.
certain body parts and all that was fucking
Well,
disgusting.
I
but
watched.
I accidentally seen, the picture of Madeline Soto. That was accidental because it just
Yeah, I
popped.
never saw that one.
Well, I
Yeah.
still can't get that out of my
Well, in
head.
Gannon's trial, because I watched the trial, the whole trial.
Yeah, me too.
They pretty much blurred out like for the so the public
Yeah,
could
for
really see.
the trial or whatever. But it's just the fact that somebody got it, put it behind a paywall.
Oh
You
yeah,
had to pay to watch it, and
it's disgusting.
yeah, and then the fact that there was people that actually paid to go in and see it, and then talked about that little boy the way they
Yeah,
did.
it's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's just some people are sick in the head. That's all.
Uh, Gigi, where you been that you were planning on being good? Yeah, just on it was horrible. Just the fact that anybody would take
Yeah.
those photos. I mean, even if you do a FOIA request and you get the photos, you don't have to put them out for
No,
clicks and views.
exactly.
You leave them in the file, and
Yeah.
you don't even have to tell people that you got them,
Nope.
especially of a child. Gigi has been corrupted by us. No, not Gigi, Sally Mae. Okay, let me get this pulled up here. I need to move my Discord out the way back here. Okay, I once again cannot see the chat. Okay, let's see here. This up. Can y'all see that? Okay, or do I need to try to make it? Oh,
That's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
okay. All right, let me see. Do this. Okay, the Gonzalez family statement. So I have this one, then there is another one. And y'all mods, once again, I cannot see the chat. So y'all just kind of keep an eye out for me. The death penalty is merely an illusion into the criminal justice system. When available, it serves as a bargaining tool for the state. And when rarely applied, it's never enforced due to a highly inefficient appellate process. The notion that someone can plead guilty to a crime and still face years of appellate delays reveals a systematic failure. The Latah County's prosecutor's office treatment of our family during this process is something I wouldn't wish on anyone. We questioned decisions early in the investigation. I mean, we all remember Mr. Gonzalez was one interview after another with, talking about things that they didn't like and was told this and all that. Why was the mayor commenting on the case? Why was the coroner speaking to families? Why was an officer with less than 2 years' experience leading the investigation? Why was the University of Idaho involved when they declared it an isolated off-campus incident? That kind of is a good question. Why was the university permitted to write a book about the incident while others were silenced under the overly broad order? As a result, we were branded adversaries. So it is no shock how the Latah County Prosecutor's Office mishandled the plea deal. They vaguely mentioned a possible plea on Friday without seeking our input and presented the plea on Sunday. Latah County should be ashamed of its prosecutor's office. 4 wonderful young people lost their lives, yet the victims' families were treated as opponents from the outset. We weren't even called about the plea. We received an email with a letter attached. That's how Latah County's prosecutor's office treats murder victims' families. Adding insult to injury, they're rushing the plea, giving families just one day to coordinate and appear at the courthouse for a plea on July the 2nd. Who do they think that they are? After more than 2 years, this is how it concludes, with a secretive deal and a hurried effort to close the case without any input from the victims' families on the plea's details. Our family is frustrated right now, and that will subside, and we will come together as always and deal with the reality that we face moving forward. Once again, we thank everyone for their thoughts and prayers. The expert, how are you? So some of that statement was in the article that I just read. See who's not happy. I think it's surprising. King, it surprised all of us for sure. I can just imagine the shock that the family members were in. Get y'all pulled back up here. All right. I do have another one. This one is very blurry.
Please don't do that again.
Let me see if I can read this before I bring it up. Okay, I think I can't read this. All right, the expert, have a wonderful night. Okay, y'all give me just a second. Like I said, this one is really blurry. And I can't zoom it in too much. Can y'all read that on panel?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to try my best to read it. So it says, I would like to clarify a couple of things. And this was posted on the Gonzalez family page over on Facebook.
Yeah, I put that in the BK page.
Okay. It says, I would like to clarify a couple of things. We did talk to the prosecution on Friday about the possibility of a plea deal and that it was a hard no from our family. Sunday night, we received an email that sent us scrambling. We immediately jumped into panic mode and started making phone calls and sending emails. We met with prosecution again today to reiterate our views on pushing for the death penalty. Unfortunately, all of our efforts did not matter. We did our best. We fought harder than anyone could ever imagine. Please do not argue or try to tell us that we should have done this or that. We gave it 200% for the last 2 years and 7 months. One day we will tell you all what we have really been through from day one. I can't imagine what they've been through, because if you think about it, they lost their daughter, but they also lost their daughter's best friend, who they considered like a child.
100%.
Which was Madeline. You will all be shocked. We fought a long, hard battle, but we lost the war. We did gain an army of love that we know will always stand by us. We have so much love for each and every one of you. You all gave us strength when we felt that we couldn't take another step. Called us off the ledge when we were ready to wave the white flag, and most importantly, prayed for us when we were in utter despair and hopeless. So much love to all of you. So that was the second statement. That one was like super hard to read too. I thought we had another one here.
Scarlett, are you allowed to play his interview on Stanfield without getting a copyright or no?
I mean, I used to play News Nation stuff all the time. I just put their link in my description and drop
Oh,
the link
okay.
in the chat. And it, so if you have it, well, you'll throw yourself off. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go find it in just a second because I do have another one right here from Bryan Itten that he posted that was just sent to me.
I couldn't remember if it was. I think it's Nancy Grace that's right. But I know Dr. Phil.
Oh, I'm not playing Nancy because
It might be Nancy.
I love Nancy, but because then you would have to go talk to Nancy and oh shit, what the hell did I just do? Okay, here we go. Yeah, you would have to go beg Nancy to take the strike away.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was posted by Bryan Itten on Twitter. It says, my personal feelings is from the beginning, Idaho has not wanted to deal with this case. From University of Idaho taking ownership of the house and tearing it down. We were all pissed about that. Or I think most of us were anyway. I still don't think they should have tore it down until after everything was done and over with and the case was closed. To the initial judge passing the case on, to the gag order and constant annoyance with the attention the case gets. So I don't know what else Bryan has posted other than the confirmation of this, which was earlier that I did not get a screenshot of.
I haven't looked on X to see.
Let's see.
I haven't been back on since I found that one.
Okay, hold on. I do know that TMZ talked about it today. As I posted that in Discord in the BK channel. Okay, so hold on. Let me go over to Facebook real quick. I haven't got to read that one yet.
Now, I have a question. Say they went to trial, okay?
Uh-huh.
If it was a mistrial, wouldn't he be able to be tried again?
Yeah, wasn't what's her face?
Yeah.
Yeah, because ain't that what
all
Emily
mistrials can be tried again?
Karen Reed. Wasn't hers a mistrial? Her first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but hers wasn't a death penalty case.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Since his was a death penalty case, what?
Well, yeah, it would have been.
And it came up to be a mistrial.
Yeah, they could have tried it again.
Would it be?
Hey, me and Paul are leaving. Hey.
Hold on, y'all. I'm just looking through something real quick.
Okay.
Nate Eaton
interrupted.
posted something earlier. No, you're good.
I thought.
Okay.
I thought they could retry him. I just was asking.
Yeah.
Because some do it with, like, there's no prejudice or whatever. Or like they did with what's her name in Florida, Casey Anthony.
Well, she was acquitted.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying if it was a mistrial, would have, because they had a stipulation on it. You know what I mean?
Oh wait, I gotta go to YouTube to get News Nation. Hold on just a second. Technically, the feds can still pick up the case, but I doubt they will. Jamie, that is, yeah.
I was just wondering. That's
Wait,
all.
how could the feds pick up the case?
Because he crossed the state lines to commit
across the line.
murder
Yeah,
from
but he would've-
Washington to Idaho.
Yeah, but he would have had to have taken them to.
No,
He would have had to have taken the victims across lines for it to be federal,
No,
no.
I thought in
right?
the very no, I thought in the very
He,
beginning it was discussed that the feds, because he crossed the state line in order to commit a felony.
yeah.
Oh,
I'll have to go back and look that up because I remember that being brought up.
wait. I think you're right. You're right because Luigi crossed state lines
Hmm.
and his is
Yeah,
federal.
and
So
his
yeah,
well, they just did Luigi Mangione's federal so they could get the death penalty on him.
yeah. I
That's
don't know why
that's the only reason.
for some reason I was thinking they have to take the victim across state lines, but I guess it's you're right.
I mean, that could. My thing is, you're crossing state line to do the crime,
Yeah.
but also if he was to kidnap them and take them across line, it's still either way. It could be federal.
What the fuck is this? Hold on, y'all. Reading
That's
something real quick.
interesting.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
So I wonder if he takes a plea agreement with the state,
I don't know.
then can the feds still? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how that would work.
Oh, I don't know who the fuck this person is. Okay.
But that is a good question.
Okay, Vapor says yes, they can. Hold on, y'all. I had a Facebook notification on my personal account that was talking about somebody getting arrested. Okay, let me find, because News Nation has put out several different things, but I want just the one with Mr. Gonzalez on it. So I gotta find it. Nope, that ain't it. Y'all give me just 1 second. Ah, here it is right here. It's him and his attorney, right? Avery, is that the one you were talking about? Is she ignoring me?
I don't know. Avery, unmute.
Hey, Dreamcatcher, how are you?
I put it in the back chat for you, Scarlett.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Betty Joe. I was getting the video.
Oh, I know you got a headache. That's why you're muting.
Well, my headache's easing up, but my back is not, and the left side of my back is hurting bad.
Where you at right now?
Huh?
Where are you at? Where are you sitting at?
In the lounge chair?
You got a heating pad on it?
No, that's in my. I'll put that on when I go to bed. I'm still. I don't know. It might be my left kidney. I can't tell. It's aggravating though.
I need to over this too. Okay, and just real quick, y'all, I was getting information and I got a couple of pages worth of notes on the Crystal Rogers case and Brooks with his murder trial and all that today. And in the middle of taking those notes is when this dropped about Kohberger taking the plea deal. So I don't have enough notes to really talk about that tonight. So I'm going to try to catch up uh, tomorrow so we can finish talking about that case. Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I was listening to Lawyer Lee while I was driving. But I did. Of course, I didn't take any notes because I was driving.
We would hope not.
No, that would have been disastrous. Now, Millimeter, have a wonderful
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
You would have never
That
made
would've
it
been-
home.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to try to go by memory, especially my memory is already bad, but when I don't feel good, it's even worse.
Well, I think Sally Mae had watched her today.
Oh, okay.
I think she told me that she was going to watch her. I can't remember. But like I said, I was in the middle of keeping up with, the blog or whatever where they're posting everything on the news site. And then I just happened to look up at Discord and boom, there it is about Kohberger. And everything regarding Brooke's house, just kind of went to the back burner. Okay, Sally Mae said she has to finish tomorrow. So Sally Mae, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get all of the notes from today and the notes for tomorrow. And we may just have to do a longer live tomorrow night because I do have to be up in the morning at 3:30 again. So, yeah.
See, blame it on Bryan Kohberger. He derailed us.
Yeah, he did.
Stupid bastard. He sure the fuck did. Okay. Let me take this off the screen. Let me maximize this. Good. So Vapor, it'll be probably more than an hour and a half live. So, fucking vegan. Okay, so this is the one from Ashley Banfield, and it has Mr. Gonzalez on it. So while it's playing, y'all let me know if y'all can hear it, but while it's playing, all of us up here on panel is going to mute.
Yeah.
I want to bring in Steve Gonzalez. He is the father of Kaylee Gonzalez. His attorney is
Y'all hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shannon Gray, who has stood by him steadfast from the beginning. Steve, I don't know what to say. You're the first person I thought of when I heard this news today. I reached out to you right away, first to tell you how sorry I was, because I know how this is landing. At least I think I do. But I wanted you to have your say. I wanted you to be able to say out loud for everyone to hear what this means to you and your family.
This is anything but justice. This is the opposite of our will. There was no majority believing that this was acceptable. I want to honor all the police officers, the FBI, and all the people that work their tail off. The failure is at the court level, 100%. But the men in the boots on the ground and the women that were out there working, I want to honor everything that they did for our children, 100%. The fault is in leadership and the people that you place this evidence upon. They were weak. They decided to play God and decide what this man's decision should be, and not a jury, not a peers, not his peers. They, so that's where we are today.
Walk me through what happened. Bryan Enton, did some really great reporting at the top of this show here, but tell me from your perspective how the last 3 days have played out.
I would say ever since Hippler's demanded an independent investigation, they couldn't get away from this case fast enough. They've done everything to make this case go away. So I don't know what that entails, but he said he was going to have an independent investigator, and all of a sudden we seemed like we were on rails to get rid of this case and make a plea deal. I mean, he's guilty. We all know he's guilty. There's more than enough evidence, but it's tough. It's tough to put a community through this, and it could be bad for reputations and business identities, and there's fallout. But this isn't the will of the victims. This is just one person making a decision, and it doesn't reflect what we were asking for.
Steve, did anybody ever call you from the prosecutor's office to just personally discuss this with you? Did anybody offer to meet with you in person to go over this potential plan?
We have meetings all the time particularly a lot of times on Friday. No. We had this regular meeting that we have to try basically do an update of what's going on, where things are at, because Idaho is actually an amazing state where it really does care about people. We just get one or two, people who just don't care about the victims and don't care about justice. And it's easy to take the weight out. It's easy to make an excuse and say, I'm doing this for the victims, even though I've never interviewed the victims. I've never really talk to them to find out what their true feelings are. So here we are. We're stuck, and we can't get out of it. I ask your audience if anybody knows Judge Hippler, reach out to him and ask him to put his foot down and not accept this offer. It doesn't reflect anything in Idaho. This is not justice. We had an outsider come to our community, kill our kids in their sleep while they're getting a college education, doing everything that they should do, and we don't have the courage to hold him accountable. No plea deal. Let's go for this guy. 100%. Let's do it. And that's how this family stands.
Steve, I know that, it's no secret your daughter Kaylee was so close with Maddie Mogan, best of friends. And I know that you got to know the Mogan family as well. Have you spoken with the Mogan family, and do you know what their reaction is to this plea decision?
We actually just had a meeting with the prosecution and just tore into it and made it clear that we were not in support of this, but we also invited other families into that, and I'll let them speak on their own that were a part of that meeting, but we are in no way alone on this. Multiple families believe the same as we do, but I want to honor their abilities to speak independently and as their child. So I don't want to cross that line, but all I will say is there was no majority for this decision at all. And if they're not working for us, they're working against us, guys. I mean, we have to wake up to this. I mean, we have to hold people accountable. Coeur d'Alene just had a shooting where we attacked our firemen. People need to stand up to these monsters and stop freaking bowing down to them and giving them childcare. I mean, prison is nothing but adult childcare. You get free vision, you get free dental, you get free meals, you get AC, room and board, cable TV, internet access. It's ridiculous what we give our prisoners. Better than what we treat our vets. Our vets coming back from war with missing limbs. This is unacceptable.
Shannon Gray, I'm going to ask you to step in as well. Judge Hippler, Steve just mentioned Judge Hippler in this case. I have to ask you as a matter of law, would Judge Hippler have been fully integrated into this deal plan? Meaning, this is not a surprise to Judge Hippler. Is he going to have to weigh this and then rule from the bench as to whether he'll accept it or not? Or is it a fait accompli by the time they get this far down the road that the judge will accept it?
Well, I think a few weeks ago, Judge Hippler, talked about had there been an offer at all on this case. I think he mentioned it in the courtroom, and maybe that sparked something with the defense and the prosecution. I'm not sure. That being said, with a plea like this, it's with the life sentences and it's agreed upon by the state and the defense. There's small modifications sometimes that they can make to the sentencing regarding, restitution, some other things like that. But if the state presents sufficient facts to the judge or a plea of guilty to the counts, normally judges will accept that, and they'll let the defense know if they're not going to accept that ahead of time. So I would suspect that the plea will go through on Wednesday, and then they'll set over sentencing for a few weeks, so the victims can be present to read victims' impact statements, etc. So,
Steve, I covered a case where the defendant was so overwhelmingly guilty according to the evidence, and it was a death penalty case in Arizona, and that jury voted guilty, and they did not vote for death penalty. So that defendant, Jodi Arias, sits in a prison in Arizona as we speak, and she had multiple access to appeals. I wonder if there's any solace at all in knowing that this can't happen to him at this point. There can be no appeal. There can be not one squeak from Bryan Kohberger after he accepts that sentence at the end of this month, unlike what happened in Arizona, where there is always a chance the jury does not choose death. Is there any solace in the fact that you will at least have him silenced and there will be no appeals?
Absolutely zero. None. Could be no farther than how we believe. I want my community support. I want that jury to make the decision, not Thompson, not some old man who's 70 freaking years old deciding how my daughter's life weighs in a courtroom. That is not justice. That is not justice at all. I'll take my juries, I'll take my peers all day long. I'm sick of one man deciding or one woman deciding what a life's worth. So that's how I stand on that.
I fully understand how you feel. And none of us can understand what you're going through. None of us is walking in your shoes. And I'm just glad to give you this platform to be able to say these things publicly. And I'm also glad that you got the support of Shannon Gray, who's just been a rock for you. Thank you to the both of you. Steve, please give Christy and your kids our love. We will still be here. We'll be here Wednesday. We'll be here at the end of the month, and we'll be here for you after that as well.
Well, thank you. And you've always been a hard worker, and that's why we've always tried to partner with people who put that extra effort. But we couldn't pick the prosecution. We inherited them. But everywhere we go, we partner with people like you who are relentless and tireless, and they just chase down the truth. And I really appreciate that's what you brought to our case. And when people reach out to me, I'll tell them that this is a network that you can partner with and understand that they'll be there to the very end.
God bless you, Steve. I think we just lost Shannon, but I'm sending you my my deepest love and wishes for some peace in all of this, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Steve Gonzalez joining us, as well as Shannon Gray, who, like I said, we just lost his connection at the very end there, but we certainly got the comments that we needed from Steve's attorney.
Okay, give me just a second. Let me get this down.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
you can see you can see in his face he looks so stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've seen him look that stressed.
I mean, honestly, you can't.
Except for the beginning.
Blame him. No, you can't. I mean, the man wants what he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame him at all.
No.
And then he's gonna call Thompson an old man.
He wants the death penalty. That's what he wanted. That's what.
Like I said, this dude comes in. He goes into these kids' house. He was doing nothing wrong, and he murders 4 kids, 4 college students. As a parent looking at, not because I don't know how he feels, but as a mother, I would want the same thing. You take my child's life, I want your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not your life sitting in prison, like he said, 3 hots and a cot every day with air conditioner and no, firing squad.
Yeah.
He made a really good point that our inmates are treated better
than our veterans.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't disagree with him.
And you can tell this has aged him in the 2.5 years. You can just look at it on his face and tell.
I was debating on saying that because I didn't know. I
mean, you can see it. You can tell he's aged.
Mm-hmm. I could see it for sure.
And you can see he's lost a lot of weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Golly.
I mean, I can't disagree with him. I mean, I would want the same thing. I don't know.
Wow.
Right at an hour and a half.
And you heard him say it wasn't a mutual agreement.
Yeah.
So basically, they pretty much all wanted the death penalty, the way he was actually putting it.
Yeah. So maybe, though, in the next days or so, we'll hear maybe from Maddie's family. hoped that Ethan's family would speak out. But I mean, they, is other than coming out about, Ethan's mom's book that she came out with, what is it called? The Boy in Blue.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Well, she also did. I don't know who she did an interview with. I can't remember.
It's gonna be on. Isn't it gonna be in the upcoming documentary?
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about. She also did an interview stating that her and her husband were planning on going to the trial.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But
At
I mean,
first, but then they,
yeah, to begin with, they wasn't going to.
Right.
But I think I do remember there was an interview that she did. I don't remember who it was with, but really the most that they talked about as far as Ethan, and it was just trying to keep his name out there and the type of person he was and all that was the book that she wrote,
Right.
and then the Tulip Farm.
Yeah.
And how they had, the tulips for Ethan, and then they had the ones that they had for the girls that they were, they kind of took the approach that way, where Mr. Gonzalez is taking it, with the media and doing the interviews and speaking out that way. And in my opinion, I think he also has kind of spoke out for Maddie's family as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously the man's not scared to speak his mind.
No, and you know what I think? Once this is done with, once they say the judge, accepts his plea and he's sentenced, I believe Steve Gonzalez is going to come out with a whole lot more.
That's a possibility. James, that could be who I'm thinking about that she did the interview with, was a local interview. I'm sorry, Avery, go ahead.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm not going to specifically say Steve, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of the victim's family members doesn't pay to have BK, taken out.
Yeah.
I think if they put him in Gen Pop, I think what's going to happen is what happened to Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what I hope happens to him. I'll just say this: the handle of a broom or a mop.
Well, see, that's what they did to Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I do believe Steve Gonzalez will come out with a whole lot more once.
Oh yeah, once it's all said and done, and he knows he can speak freely about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Because it sucks right now. And don't get me wrong, it does say the families from seeing the photos that would be presented as evidence in the trial, and from the way they have talked, the crime scene was very gruesome. So this does save them from having to sit there and look at it, or have to get up and walk out of the courtroom when they're being shown.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like he said, it's not justice.
No, and I see where he's coming from. That it not being justice because they didn't get their trial.
It just doesn't. It don't seem like a full form of justice. Okay, yeah, there can be some closure for some of the family members as far as like the plea deal, and he's going to be in prison for the rest of his life, 4 consecutive life sentences. 10-year max on the burglary. It's not the full form of justice.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he's not going to get out for the rest of his life, but that's still not the justice they wanted.
Well, he's still breathing.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, you took 4 lives for no reason.
Look, I'm just going to straight up say it. Mr. Gonzalez is a fucking gangster.
Oh,
because he has that same mindset that I have, that if someone touches my child, this is what they should get.
Yep.
So
I'm pretty sure it'll happen. I'm pretty sure I feel like, I don't know when it'll be, but I feel like Bryan will be taken out.
Oh,
Good. Jailhouse justice. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't feel sorry for him. You
No.
killed 4 innocent kids for no reason. They were doing nothing to you. If it does come out that it is true that he liked one of them, a lot of people suspect that it's Maddie. If that's the case, if she didn't like you, that's still no reason to go murder her and 3 of her friends.
Nope.
And
Just
I
put
think
me in a tip on her and fucking suck it up and go find somebody else.
Yep.
I think that we already know the motive, just based on Bryan's like past internet posts and things. You know, like I think the motive was that he wanted to. He's got evil in him, and he wanted to experience the feeling of doing what he did.
Yeah.
And he wanted that SK name.
Yep.
So I don't know. I feel really bad for the victims' families.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not justice with Scarlett. Even had he went through the trial, a jury may not have voted. A Dreamcatcher, that is true.
Yeah.
They may not have voted for the death penalty because we do know that in this day and time, a lot of people don't believe in the death penalty, especially now that Idaho has the firing squad.
Yeah. Well, some people see the death penalty as an easy way out.
True.
Some people have that opinion, you know.
Yeah.
My opinion is, you take my child's life, I want yours. That's me though, and that's like I said.
Right.
Other people have different opinions on it. I fully respect that, but
same here. Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying mine is right and someone else's is wrong.
No.
That's just how I feel about it. You take my child's life, I want yours.
And that's how I look for it. That's how I look at it. An eye for an eye.
Yeah. And I mean, that may sound harsh to a lot of people. If it does, sorry, not sorry, but that's just how I feel about it.
Everybody has their own beliefs. My beliefs, eye for an eye.
But I also believe that if you have someone who is being accused of what he has been accused of, that you have to bring 1,000%.
Oh yeah.
That you have the right person, because I don't want to see someone get the DP that didn't do it. I don't want to see that either, just to satisfy a victim's family or law enforcement or anything like that, because that itself is not right either. 1,000%, you have all the evidence to bring forward to the jury to convict this person and give them the death penalty.
And see, I believe the prosecution had that evidence. I believe it 100%, and I believe that Bryan Kohberger got, because it's coming down to the wire, that he got scared, and the only way out was to take a plea.
Yeah, because I don't think whenever he went and did this, I don't think he was banking on the death penalty being brought up.
I don't think so either.
I think that he thought he was really going to get away with it.
Yeah.
Because he's a PhD student. He's a very smart person. I think he thought he was going to get away with it, and then he did it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. And Dreamcatcher, I completely get it. And like I was saying, in this day and time, there's more people who tend to lean away from the death penalty, and they may convict him and say, yeah, 100% he's guilty, he's the one that did it, but at the same time, I don't want to be responsible for saying, yes, take his life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get that as well, but it's sitting as on the side of the victims' families. Hurt my child or do something to my child, take my child's life, I want your life.
Yep.
But it may be different. It's different for everybody. That's why I said everybody's opinions are welcome here. And you don't have to agree with it. You agree to disagree and respect everybody's opinions.
Yeah. And in time, Steve and his family will, process this and start to get through it.
I don't think he's given himself time to grieve.
No, I don't either. I
I
really
think
don't.
this has been just back to back from the time that it happened. It's just he's been so busy with it, him and his family, and trying to keep up with everything and making sure that everything is being done right. And I just don't think he's had time to grieve. And I think once this is all said and done and it's over with and the case is closed, that's when it's really going to hit him. There's no time frame on grieving or healing or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't like the DP. Where myself, it's just I'm in Dreamcatcher. I was just saying, I totally get where you're coming from though. But yeah, I feel horrible for the family members.
Yeah, I do too. Do you remember when Chronicles of Olivia went to Idaho to do an interview with the family?
Mm-hmm.
You know she's engaged to their son?
Huh?
Yeah, I knew that.
She's
Their pictures are so sweet. Yeah.
She got really close with the family.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I remember when they went up there.
Well, she's the one who did the interview.
Yeah, but I did not know that though.
Yeah.
The reason they chose her to do the interview with is because Kaylee followed her.
Yeah.
Right. I remember that.
Yeah, but yeah, she's her and their son, they've been engaged for like a year now.
I did not know that.
I just found it out though, but they got really close. She got really close with the family, and then I guess they started dating and they got engaged.
Which I watched Olivia during the Bryan laundry case, and then there was some stuff that had came out regarding some items that were found at the reserve.
The water bottle, yeah,
which there is a picture of the back of Gabby's van that has a water bottle exactly like that one. So I'm not going to say yes, it was it, or no, it wasn't, because I don't know.
Well, from my understanding, she pulled away from you know who. So
yeah, she did. She's on her own.
That's good, because that was a really huge mistake for her.
Yeah. Well, they did take that water bottle straight to the police station to turn it in, and then I think the police station wouldn't take it or something, and then they were trying to mail it to the Petitos, and I don't know if it ever got mailed or not, but
I don't know.
Dreamcatcher, I agree, especially in a case like Idaho 4, there should not be plea deals. I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Olivia has a talent with her
with that damn camera.
Yeah, the documentary.
She is really good with her camera.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've watched some of her stuff with the pictures and stuff. She's really good with that camera.
And she never really fit in with that group that she was with. She always seemed to me like the quiet one that just didn't belong, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I watched her, though, was I knew she did the interview with the Gonzalez family, but and I remember watching that, but before that, I hadn't watched her since the Bryan laundry case.
Yeah, when I found that out, you go, girl.
Yeah, I didn't even know that they were together.
Yeah, I just found that out like 2 days ago, I think it was.
I mean, that's pretty damn cool, though.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna have to hop down. I don't know what is going. I'm hurting. The center, my spine is hurting, but my left side of my back is hurting, and I think it's my kidney. And I just can't take it anymore.
All right, well, go lay on a heat pad or take a hot bath or something like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll start feeling better.
All right. Well, I'll just be in the chat until you end.
Yeah, I'm about to end it here just a minute anyway, because I've already been on here an hour and 45 minutes. So, and I've got to get back up at 3:30. So,
Okay. All right. Well, good night, y'all.
all right.
Good
Have a
night.
good night. I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna jump down too.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming up.
Yep. Y'all have a good night.
All right. You too. All right, y'all. So, like I said, tomorrow, if there's anything new that comes out on the Kohberger thing, we'll discuss it tomorrow night. But I will try to get the notes from Brooks House and the Crystal Rogers murder trial going on from today and tomorrow, so we can go over that, because I really want to keep up with that since we've been on it since day one. And then I'll find out about the Kohberger thing as far as the plea hearing goes Wednesday. And if it is open and it is going to be streamed, then I will be live at some point Wednesday streaming it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I probably won't get no sleep, so I will probably see y'all at some point in Discord, because I have to be up at 3:30 anyway, and it's already 11:45 my time. So thank you all for coming in. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Jamie, you have a wonderful night as well. I love you all, and I will talk with y'all later.